You ready? You ready? You ready for this conversation? All right. Sure. We ready? All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, Fred T. Williams here. And thank you for tuning into episode 1 of the CONVOS podcast with me, Fred T. Williams. I'm so glad you are here for this relaunch of the season for us. We stopped for a little while. We had we were living life, honestly, living life, getting things in order, putting things in place, making sure that we wanted to bring the best possible content from the purest and most authentic place. And so during the time down, we've just been living, we've been experiencing, we've been growing, we've been pruning areas that need to be pruned. And we've just been in the process and continuing to become everything that God desires for us to become. And that's one of the things that actually led us to saying, okay, it's time to bring back the Convos podcast. It's time to bring back these conversations. Let's talk about it. It's time to bring back these conversations and just kind of help you walk through some of the processes that I've walked through my own self in my own life when it comes to certain realizations and certain actualizations that were necessary for me to keep growing better and doing greater. And so this first episode that we're dealing with today, what we're talking about today is let's stop faking it. That's it. Put a fork in it. Let's stop faking it. Let me say this plain. Most people are not growing. We can start this whole conversation there, right there with that reality. Most people are not growing. They're just talking about growing. We've never been so inundated with information about growing, about being better, and all of this. And I almost believe that part of us, there's a whole portion of society that has gotten comfortable with information gathering, but they're never executing. They've become great at gathering the steps to be better, gathering all of the resources and the things. They order everything. They order everything off of Amazon that's in some influencers bio link that says I do this and this simplifies my life, and they've got a whole section of their home dedicated to Amazon orders, but yet and still the things that the order was supposed to help provide and produce, they haven't even taken the order out of the box. And so it's just information gathering. And so again, we're not short of information. We're not short of information at all. But I honestly believe that where the disconnect is taking that information and allowing there to be transformation. Okay. And so we've normalized surface conversations. We've gotten so comfortable with just small talk, pointless banter. Somebody asks you how you doing, and guess what we say? I'm good. And the reality is, no, you're not. You're really not good. You're tired. You're frustrated. You're confused. You're repeating cycles that you swore that you would never repeat. So ask yourself the question, are you really good? Are you really good? Are you really good? No. What happens is we avoid real conversations. We avoid real conversations because real conversations, watch this, they require honesty. Honesty. They require you to be truthful. Real conversations. Real conversations require humility. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You got to be humble to have real conversations. You got to really be humble to have these real conversations that are necessary to actually produce growth and change in your life. And humility is something that most people are not willing to walk in. They're not willing to walk in it. A lot of people live in false humility. When you have to keep announcing that you're humble, that's a version of false humility because humility is something that is, it does not have to be announced. Do you hear me? Humility is something that is, it does not have to be announced. That's like if you're beautiful. If a person is beautiful, they don't have to keep telling everybody, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful. Who are you trying to convince? You are them. That means you don't even believe it. A person that knows that they're beautiful, they just walk into the room with a certain presence, and it's just like, oh, snap. A person that's confident, that knows who they are, they walk into a room with a certain confidence. They never have to list all of their accomplishments or brag about who they are or be introduced with all the pomp and the circumstance. Their presence speaks for itself. And people start trying to figure out who they are. But people who are inadequate, who feel inadequate, who haven't, who are lacking confidence, they're the loudest ones. I did this and I'm doing this and so, and I, and we find ourselves in these patterns. But humility is something that's very important that most people are afraid to walk in. They're afraid to. So instead of walking in humility, instead of having real conversations, instead of being honest, we perform. We show up polished, but we're broken. We talk strong, but everything about us is actually weak. So let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. People don't avoid truth because they don't want to grow. They avoid truth, I believe, for three key reasons. Number one is that truth exposes. Truth exposes. Number two is that truth confronts. And number three is that truth removes excuses. So let's review that. So truth exposes. It exposes people, places, things, motives, intentions. It exposes. Truth confronts. It gets right in your face and it makes you pay attention to who you really are, what you really desire, what you're really about. And truth removes excuses. You can't justify certain things when you're dealing with truth. And so most people are more committed to their comfort than they are to change. And so they run from the truth. They stay living dishonestly. And you cannot fix what you keep hiding. It's impossible. Proverbs 27:6. You know I have to bring some Bible in. Proverbs 27:6. It says something so powerful. It says, the wounds of a friend are trustworthy, but the kisses of an enemy are excessive. And I'm reading this from the Christian Standard Version of the Bible. It says, the wounds of a friend are trustworthy, but the kisses of an enemy are excessive. So let's break that down. Let's look deeper at it. So people, real people, will tell you the truth. Real people, your real friends, your real loved ones, your real family, those who really rock it with you, they will tell you the truth. But fake people, they protect your dysfunction. You know you're wrong. You know you're dead wrong in the situation, but all your friends, your homies, your girlfriends around you, they're like, yeah, I'm riding with you. I'm riding with you. No, I'm not riding with you. You are wrong. And I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. And that's just how we're going to deal with it. You are wrong. But we've surrounded ourselves with people who will slide for us, who will ride for us, who will throw hands for us, who will cuss somebody out for us, who will go to bat for us in our dysfunction. And they never tell us, hey, get it together. Let me parenthetically insert this. If you're the type of person that always wants somebody to be a party or a co-contributor to your dysfunction, then you are just as unhealthy as they are participating in your dysfunction, because you are the poison that keeps luring them into you if you're looking for them to co-sign your dysfunction. Maybe they're just a co-signer. Maybe they're just into you. Maybe they just want to be your friend. And them feeling like they have to be a yes man to you is the thing that gets in that friendship, because maybe you haven't shown them that, hey, I can have a difficult conversation. Hey, I can level up in my thinking. Hey, I can level up in my accountability. Okay? So you can't surround yourself with a bunch of people who never correct you. That's not love. That's not love at all. That's actually neglect. For your friends to see you erring, for your loved ones, your family to see you going down a wrong path, making some bad decisions, and no one ever pulls your coattail or calls you to the carpet and has an honest, vulnerable conversation with you that requires you to self-evaluate, then you're surrounded by people who really don't care about you. They only care about you showing up for them the way they need you to. We can take that conversation in so many ways, but I want to stay right here with this. So let's look at this. Let's look at our real life. Let's make this real practical for you. Let's look at this. Um, you say you want a better relationship, but you avoid hard conversations. You say you want growth, but you reject correction. You say you even want to change, but you protect the habits that keep you stuck. At what point do you decide, do I want comfort or do I want change? Because I cannot have them both. Let's walk through that. You say you want a better relationship, but you avoid the hard conversations. Hard conversations are necessary for any healthy relationship because what hard conversations allow to occur is you get to understand the other people in the relationship because the relationship is not all about you. It's not all about what you think. It's not all about what you feel. It's not all about how you want things. There is a thing, a tricky little word. It's a little funny. You might not like it, but there's a word called compromise. 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 Little word. I want you to think on that for a moment. And I know we often paint that word compromise in a bad light. I've compromised myself and this and that. Well, or I've compromised to the wrong things. Compromise is actually okay in the right context. The context determines the quality. Okay. So if I'm compromising in all of the wrong situations, situations where I should be speaking up, but instead I'm not saying anything, that's a bad compromise. If I'm allowing someone, I'm in a relationship with someone and they're not hearing me, and so I'm just compromised to let them have their way. That's a bad compromise. Because how do you ever get to a better relationship without the hard conversation? Because sometimes the hard part of the conversation is the difficulty or the discomfort that comes with the challenge that requires you to make sure that there is something called equal compromise, because in a healthy relationship there is something called equal compromise. It's not just one-sided compromise, it's not lopsided compromise, it's equal compromise. Prime example, my relationship with my wife, it's not about Fred accomplishing all of Fred's dreams while her dreams go on the back burner to the side, and maybe we'll get to it when we done dreaming for Fred. It doesn't work like that. The first thing we did, we sat down and we laid out visions and dreams and goals. And you know what I did? I'm the type of person, let's map this out. Let's see what intersects. Let's see what intertwines. Let's build this together. And so if you want a healthy relationship, and that's I'm talking about a marriage in that aspect, but look at your friend circles. Look at your friend groups. Look at who's around you. Who is your buddy? Okay? How are you all advancing in your friend goals? Do you have a friend or a person in your life? Because I wouldn't even necessarily call them a friend. They only show up when things are going bad, and their whole mode is to get you drunk, to get your mind off of all of the things that are going bad. So let's go out and let's take shots because we got to get over it. And I want you to feel better. The shots don't make you feel better. The shots are it's like cough syrup. The cough syrup don't necessarily take away the cough. The simple thing that's causing the cough, it just suppresses the cough. And so I got friends that take me out and, okay. But did that friend ever help you get out of the situation that that you were in that required them to have to come and want to take you out in the first place? Or how are you navigating that? How are you navigating that tension? Better relationship, hard conversations. The conversation of, this is how I really feel. This is what I really think. Better relationship, hard conversations. Even again on friendships, because everything we talk about relationships, oftentimes we automatically go to romantic relationships, but we're talking about family relationships, familial connections, and we're talking about friend relationships, friend circles, platonic friends, and things of that nature. People who you've been friends with so long, you call them bro and sis. Is that relationship healthy? Is it healthy? Is it the best that it can be? Or is there some substantial growth that can occur in that relationship if some hard conversations are actually had? Like, hey, I don't like the way you're dismissive of everything that I say. How come we friends, but it seems like your opinion is the only opinion that matters? How are we friends? And it seems like when I bring something to the table, you always have a way of diminishing my idea while making like your idea is better. How can we be friends? And it's not that your idea is always better. You just may have the stronger personality. But in that situation, that imbalance, toxic, it is toxic. It's a very toxic situation. You cannot expect a better relationship if you don't open your mouth and have the difficult conversation. It's going to make you uncomfortable, but that's a conversation you have to have. You want growth, but you reject correction. How can you grow if nothing is ever addressed that's contributing to your lack of growth? I want to be rich. I want to be rich. I want to be rich. But you don't save. You don't spend your money wisely. You have horrible work ethic. You have no direction. You late for work every single day while fussing about a promotion that somebody else got. Like, I want growth, but you can't deal with the correction. You can't deal with the correction. Like, hey, get out of McDonald's line. I'm telling myself that. Get out of McDonald's line. Hey, no fast food. Hey, save some money. Hey, what do you have to tell yourself? You got to have that. You got to be able to accept correction, because if you cannot be corrected, you'll never be able to grow. And I want to parenthetically insert this. It does matter where the correction comes from. This is not a license for people to just be in your life trying to boss you around and tell you, offering constructive criticism, because constructive criticism today has often been used, it's been weaponized by people. It's been weaponized by people in authority. It's been weaponized by people. I've seen this happen a lot in church. Constructive criticism, when it's actually subtle manipulation to try to get you to do what they feel you need to do. So they're criticizing what you are doing that does not necessarily include them. And they're saying you need, well, you should be doing A, B, and C, this. In relationships, leaders, people of authority. Well, you got to make sure that the correction is coming from a trusted place, trusted and proven. Okay. So it's not a license for everybody to just walk in your life and correct you. Now, if you're like me, I'm the type of person I can receive from anybody because I listen for the truth. I listen for the truth. There was a season in my life when I was homeless, and I never forget, it was a wino. The dude smelled like urine and Colt 45. He said something to me that pricked my heart and my soul and stirred something in me. But if I had just looked at the outside exterior, I would have missed the message. And so I do want us to mature to the place where we can hear truth no matter who is speaking. And we take what's for us and we can grow. But until we get to that place, I don't believe that you just accept correction from any and everybody, because some people are not correcting you with a loving spirit. Some people call themselves correcting you because they just want to prove something. Their intentions are not pure. Their intentions are not right. They're negative. But eventually, the goal of everyone, is to get to a place where you are mature enough to hear truth no matter who's speaking. That's where you want to get to. You say you want to change, but you keep protecting the habits that keep you stuck. This is something that so many people are stuck in right now. And you can see this. If a person ever says to you regarding their negative behavior, a mentality that is unhealthy, and something that is literally a hindrance to not only themselves, but to other people, that's just the way I am. Run far and run fast. That is one of the most toxic phrases used when it comes to relationships. That's just the way I am. And it's often said about things that it may be a person's personal viewpoint, but it is an unhealthy viewpoint, and it is an unproductive viewpoint when it comes to who that person is supposed to be in the relationships that person is responsible for being a positive contributor to. That's just the way I am. We say that in regards to so many negative things. It's rare that I hear people say, you know what, I'm just generous. I help everybody that I come in contact with. I help the homeless people all the time. That's just the way that I am. Instead, we say things like, all you got to do is cross me one time. You cross me one time and you done, you dead to me. That's just the way that I am. You know how toxic that is? So toxic. Because what if everybody crossed you up every time you cross them? And I guarantee you, if you live more than 15 years, at some point you have crossed somebody and made somebody mad, been the offender in somebody's story, been the bad guy in somebody's story, been the villain in somebody's cartoon. Or you the type of person that when you get mad, and this used to be me, when you get mad, you get to going, and you got to get everything out. I still got to get everything out, but it's not in the sense of before, like when I'm mad, I'm just popping off at the mouth. That's just the way that I am. I got to get everything out now because if I don't make my point, I'm gonna lose it. And that's just the way my brain is wired. I can hear my wife in the background laughing at me with that. I could just hear her laughing, like, yeah, that's how he is. But the reality is, um, I've worked hard, and I'm just using me for an example because I mean, we're having this conversation. And so um, I've worked hard to ensure that my better qualities outshine my not so good qualities. And I'm working on revamping and transforming my not so good qualities into healthy and productive qualities because you always have to be working on yourself. You've got to be obsessed with growth in a healthy way. You don't grow by chance. You don't grow by, oh, I just woke up, so I'm gonna grow. No, growth is intentional, especially when you talk about healthy growth. You've got to intentionally get out of shape. It's intentional. The same way you have to intentionally get in shape. Okay. So how are you protecting habits that keep you stuck? Or even before we deal with how are you protecting them, think about it. What habits do you have right now that are keeping you stuck? At some point, you have to decide, do I want comfort or do I want to change? It was a quote that I saw on Instagram. It was attributed to Denzel Washington. He said, ease is the enemy of greatness. Ease, easy. It is the enemy of greatness because it does not challenge you. And so I cannot grow when I'm focused on being comfortable because being comfortable automatically puts my mind into a mode of settling unless you've reprogrammed your thinking to say, my comfort comes in growth. I'm only comfortable when I'm growing. But a lot of people don't think like that. This is why we go to work and we can't wait and we rush. We want to hurry to the weekend because the discomfort of doing what's necessary to ensure that you can live the life that you want to live. And I'm just talking about your job, working your job, providing, paying your bills, your rent, your light bill, gas bill, car insurance, car note, gas in your car. You have to have a stream of income to do those things. And oftentimes we look at the stream of income as the challenge, the work that we have to do to get that income as the challenge. Oh, I got to go to work today. I got to see these people today that I don't want to deal with. I got to walk in this office space and I don't even want to be here. I'm tired. I'm on this job making somebody else rich. I could be doing this for myself. I am sick of it. I'm tired. I don't even like these people. No way. If this check was good, I can't wait till I find another job. And we push through that. And then here comes the week. Ooh, when Friday comes, I can't wait till I get off. I can't wait till I'm off work. And we live for the weekend. We wait because we have gotten so to the point I want to rush to comfort, as opposed to saying on that job, you know what? Let me excel at this job. Let me do my job so good that they have to promote me. And I know it may not be time for promotions, but let me do my job so good they create a higher position for me. Or even if they don't create a higher position, they just give me a raise and a bonus. Let me do my job so good. Let me represent myself so well that I'll show up and I'll make an impact on everybody that I have to work with because I'm not going to let their bad attitudes influence me. Instead, I'm going to let my good attitude influence them. Oh, that's too much like right. Instead, we run from the challenge and we try to rush to the comfort of the weekend. I can't wait till I get out so I can do what I want to do. Mm, mm. So here's how we fix this. Here's how we fix this. Here's how we fix this. Here's how we fix the conflict between comfort and change. Here's how we fix it. I'm going to always give you a strategy. Here's how we fix it. What you got to start doing today is start telling yourself the truth. Let's say that again. Start telling yourself the truth. Where am I stuck? What am I avoiding? What do I keep repeating? Where am I stuck? What am I avoiding? And what do I keep repeating? This is my podcast, so I'm drinking water. I'm covering the label because it ain't an infomercial. They ain't paid for that time yet. But you got to start telling yourself that. Where are you stuck? What are you avoiding? And what do you keep repeating? Okay? Because if you can identify where you're stuck, you'll know how you know what you need to move so that you can keep moving or start moving. What are you avoiding? When you can identify what you're avoiding, you know now what you need to face. What do you keep repeating? When you look at the unhealthy and the toxic, I'm going to use that word often throughout this season, toxic, because I don't want you to water down the reality of what these things are that are present in our lives that are negative, that are growth blockers, that hinder us from becoming the better person that we can be, the better man, the better woman, the better boy, the better girl that we can be. It's toxic. It's toxic. And when you start recognizing toxicity at first glance, it will save you from recovering from being poisoned. So what do I keep repeating? What do I keep repeating? That's the first thing. The second thing you got to do, you have to invite real conversations. Okay. Now there's an art to this. You don't just have real conversations with anybody. I'll give you a formula that I used. I had a real conversation with somebody who I knew loved me, who I knew wouldn't lie to me and would tell me the truth. Real conversation. One of the hardest conversations I've ever had to have, but it gave me some of the most growth in my life that I've ever experienced. And I also had a real conversation with someone who I knew couldn't stand my guts because I wanted to understand what it was that they were thinking or feeling that made Fred such a bad person to them. Of course, at the end of that conversation, watch this. I walked away with some enlightenment for myself, but they also walked away with some revelation and some healing for themselves, for themselves, because they realized that guess what? A lot of this stuff that I'm projecting onto him, like he's such a bad guy, is really something internal going on with me. And we were able to deal with those internal issues, and some healing was able to occur in that conversation. So you got to invite real conversations. And when you invite real conversations, prepare to be uncomfortable. Do what you got to do. Prepare to be uncomfortable. Prepare to. Stop surrounding yourself with yes people because you'll never have a real conversation if all you have around you is people that agree with you. Okay? And then get people who will challenge you. You need somebody who will actually literally challenge you. Hey, I hear you, but do me a favor. Think about that again. Review that again. That's your plan. All right, that sounds good. That sounds good. But I think you can come up with something better. Surround yourself with people that'll challenge you. You say you want to be rich, but you're not even managing your paycheck right. So how are you gonna manage millions if you can't manage thousands? Real conversations. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. You barely have one. Real conversations. You got to invite them and you got to be challenged. You got to be challenged. One of the things that I do, I'm a life coach, certified master life coach. That's what the credentials say, certified. And so I challenge my clients like, hey, okay, I hear all of your dreams. I hear all of your goals. I hear everything that you want to do. Give me 3 things that you are going to do this week. And I always say 3. I always say 3. You know why? Because there is always something that you need to do inside of you. There's something that you need to do outside of you, and there's something that you need to do for someone else. So there's the internal work, there's the big picture work, and there's the exchange with another person work that has to occur. That's what I believe. All right. Number 3, the next thing you got to do, you have to stop performing, okay? Cancel the tickets, refund all the money. The show is over, okay? It's canceled. The tour is canceled. Stop performing. You don't need to look strong. You actually need to become strong. I love the Bible when the Bible says that his strength is made perfect in our weakness. It's the moments that we are weak that we get to see God stand up in all of his strength. And so I have no problem saying, Lord, I'm tired. I can't take it. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. Become comfortable with saying, I don't know. It's okay to not know. It's okay. It really is okay. Because if you admit what you don't know, it gives you room to understand what you need to learn. First, you have to prioritize how important is your knowing of whatever it is that you want to know. How many dominoes does it take to fill a windowsill? I could care less. I don't need to know that. So don't master majoring in minor things that don't matter. I'm going to help you. What they said about me, who cares? You don't even know the person. Where are you interested in what they said about you for? Who cares? Nah, because if they talking about me, shut up. Who cares? Stop. You should be more concerned about the people whose face you're smiling in, who's smiling in your face. You should be more concerned about what they are saying about you. So you can see if you're smiling in the face of a friend or an enemy. Okay? Lastly, you got to take one real action. Take one real action. All right. That's an honest conversation. Have one, at least one honest conversation. Between the end of this episode and you watching next week's episode, have one honest conversation. Just one. Commit to one behavior change. If you're always talking over someone when they're talking, commit to being quiet and letting the other person finish what they're saying. It's a sign of respect. Every time, and I'm guilty of this, every time you overtalk a person, and this is my own personal practice. This is the mentality that has helped me curtail cutting someone off when they're talking to me. And I'm still working on it. I have not mastered it, but this is what I think about to help me stop doing it. What helps me stop is thinking every time I do that to this person, I'm being disrespectful. Do I want someone to disrespect me like that? That's a behavior change. Just one. Commit to one behavior change. Next, commit to one step forward. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's the one thing that you can do from the end of this episode to the beginning to next week episode drop? What is one thing that you can do that will move you forward? One step forward. Okay? So if you're saying, okay, I'm not okay. You've been lying and saying you're okay and you're really not okay. So what's one step forward? First, you got to have the honest conversation that you are not okay with someone trusted and share that you are not okay. Be honest about not being okay. Don't feel bad because you are not okay. Then you got to commit to a behavior change. That could simply be stop lying about being okay. Then if somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm not okay. And then one step forward. I have to now adjust whatever action. I have to take an action so that where I was once saying I'm not okay, I need to take an action that will make me okay. So that when I'm asked how I'm doing, I'm not lying when I say I'm okay or I'm good. Okay. So in closing, and I hope you all have enjoyed this conversation. Um, in closing, I want to leave you with this. If the conversation doesn't challenge you, it cannot change you. You hear me? If the conversation doesn't challenge you, it cannot change you. And if nothing changes, your life remains exactly the same. So the question, even regarding the conversation that we're concluding now, is not, did you enjoy this conversation? The question really is, what are you going to do differently now that we've had this conversation? Listen, I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Next week, we're back. Episode 2. Shazara Medley is going to be my guest. She's a therapist from the UK. I believe that this conversation is going to be change. It's going to change your life. It's going to build from here. And I believe that this next conversation, we're talking about you lost yourself trying to be loved. Lost yourself. Thanks for tuning in.